On March 2nd, 2023, the architectural community lost a legend. 78-year-old Rafael Vinoly passed away.
I'm an architect in New York and in many other parts of the world.
If you really think that that's all there is, I mean, the visual surface of what you're looking at, you're also making a mistake.
Rafael was one of the most celebrated architects of our time, having a nearly endless portfolio of iconic work, including the Tokyo International Forum, the Carrasco International Airport, the First Sight Visual Arts Center in Colchester, the Walkie-Talkie Building in London.
It's a project that works as an inverted tower. The small part of the building is at the bottom and the bigger part is at the top.
And of course, possibly his most well-known design, 432 Park Avenue in New York City. Rafael lived a long, fulfilling, and an inspiring life, but that doesn't make the news of his passing any easier. Vinoly's designs have absolutely left a mark on the world of architecture. He once said that architecture is not simply an artistic endeavor or a mere technical or organizational challenge. It's a social practice with a significant impact on the collective environment well beyond the effects of its initial viewing.
The idea that you're in a field in which intuition can overwrite how much you know is a dangerous tack to take.
From skyscrapers to museums, his work spans across continents, almost always leaving a lasting impression. Today, let's pay our respects to this accomplished and amazing man, Rafael Vinoly. Born in Uruguay in 1944, Vinoly grew up in a town called Montevideo, which is the capital and largest city in Uruguay. His father was a theater director, his mother was a math teacher, and as a child, Vinoly was fascinated by architecture and would spend hours drawing buildings and imagining the spaces within them.
The configuration of the physical space is a hell of a lot more complicated thing than just implanting buildings indiscriminately.
By 1969, Vinoly received a diploma in architecture from the University of Buenos Aires School of Architecture and a Master of Architecture from the Faculty of Architecture and Urbanism. And he actually formed his first firm in 1964 before he even graduated college.
You know, we're all going through a period of transformation in our lives, in our relationship with nature, in our relationship with each other.
After graduating, Vinoly worked for several prominent architects in South America before eventually moving to New York City in 1978 with his family. By 1983, he'd already founded his architectural firm, Rafael Vinoly Architects, which is still thriving to this day, with his first big project being the John Kay College of Criminal Justice, built in 1988. Over the years, Vinoly has designed projects in the United States, Europe, Asia, Africa, the Middle East, and Latin America. And if you scroll through the work on his webpage, you'll see that he has done civil, cultural, education, healthcare, hospitality, mixed use, sports, transportation, office, and multifamily residential space over the course of his 50-year career. The project that Vinoly is probably most well known for at this point is 432 Park Avenue. It's a residential skyscraper in Manhattan. We've talked about this one a couple of times on the channel in the past. This tower is home to some of the most expensive residences in the world. It stands as one of the tallest residential skyscrapers in the world, and it has this iconic boxy look to it that definitely stands out in the New York skyline, a look that Rafael Vinoly later famously shared was actually originally inspired by a trash can.
It's literally like 6 buildings, one on top of the other.
Now, I know that there's a lot of haters out there who don't love 432 Park Avenue, and that's totally fine. Everybody is entitled to their opinion, but I visited the building myself when I was in New York a few years back, and I've got to say, this really is one of the most amazing skyscrapers that I've ever seen from an architectural standpoint.
We don't think about buildings as independent moments, but rather basically as an evolution of a process of getting to know something.
Vinoly's signature style is characterized by his use of bold geometric forms and sleek modernist designs. And what's cool is he's not just focused on the way that things look, he's big on functionality as well.
What makes a piece of architecture into something significant in terms of its artistic value is something very difficult to define, but that everybody knows one way or another, which is the way the proportions were.
His buildings are often praised for their innovative use of space and their ability to seamlessly integrate into their surroundings. One really unique example of this is the Laguna Garzon Bridge in Uruguay, completed in 2014. This obviously is not a building, but this shows how thoughtful Vinoly was with what he designed. At first glance, you guys might look at this thing and think, okay, this is just some weird, round, abstract shaped bridge. Why would he design it that way? But it turns out Vinoly wanted to create something that, for one, slowed traffic, but also offered a walking path with a dock for fishing, plus something that shifts drivers' perspective as they drive around this thing, aiming their cars at the surrounding landscape.
It makes the place in the middle of the water and also forces everybody to reduce speed, and at the same time have this unbelievable panoramic view of the environment.
Come on. How cool is that? Rafael is survived by his wife, Diana Vinoly, who is an interior designer, his son, Roman, his 3 stepsons, a granddaughter, and 3 step-grandchildren. And his firm's partners and directors say that they plan to extend his architectural legacy and the work that they will continue to perform every day. There are a handful of projects that Vinoly designed over the course of his career that he never got to see completely come to fruition. The most anticipated one is probably at 125 Greenwich. This is a residential skyscraper that's being built in the financial district of Manhattan, not too far away from the One World Trade Center. The tower has been in construction for years. It stands 912 feet or 278 meters tall, and it will have about 270 condo units available for sale once it's finished. Anybody who lives in this area knows that construction on this building has kind of been stalled for a while, and the project has just been sitting there in limbo. Well, the good news here is that The Real Deal reported just a few weeks back that the developers actually secured another $313 million in financing, so construction should be finished soon, and then sales will relaunch later this year. Architecture really isn't all about just building buildings. It's about improving the lives of the people who are in the communities where those buildings are built in, and that is exactly what Rafael Vinoly did over the course of his career. From his humble beginnings in Uruguay to his status as a global architectural icon, Vinoly has left an undeniable mark on the world of architecture, one that no doubt will be felt for generations to come. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you to Rafael Vinoly for your architectural contributions all over the world.
That's it. I don't have too much more to say.